Hi, Fashion Dolls. How are you? TGIF. I hope you all are doing excellent today. Welcome to the Dollhouse. Welcome to Style by Stevie Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, June 24th. And today, joining me, Fashion Dolls, in the Dollhouse, we have British singer, R&B soul, and more importantly, reggae and hip hop singer, songwriter, and record producer, Kevin Mark Trill, joining me today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm super excited, and without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest.
What's
Hello,
up?
hello,
What's
the
up?
Dollhouse.
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, Fashion Doll. So before we get into this interview, because I know you're in the UK, I'm down here in the US, and things are a little bit different than they are in the UK than down here in the US. So how has your 2022 been for you thus far? I know it's been crazy with this pandemic going on and so many things. So how would you describe your 2022 so far?
Busy. 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 Good, busy. I'm still waiting for a pause. I'm still waiting for a time to stop and to there's been moments, but yeah, definitely the last kind of 3 months has been loads of new things, loads of changes, loads of transitions, but good. I'm good.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
now that we're here, let's get right into this interview, Fashion Dolls. Let's open the storybook. You were born and raised, and you're an October baby. I'm an October baby as well, also. So I
Cool.
don't know your zodiac sign. I'm a Scorpio.
I'm a
So
Libra, Scorpio rising.
all right, my mama's a Libra, October 7th. Yep.
Cool.
So you were born in London, the UK. Tell us a little bit about that
Yes.
experience growing up in the UK of London. Did you always knew you had the bug and the ear for music? Did you always knew you wanted to get into music?
No, it kind of came, it kind of, I was more into art and kind of create painting, and that was kind of my thing for a while. And it was kind of about 15, I started writing. My music teacher was from New Zealand, where I've made a lot of music. Big up Andrew from Solar Rossa, who I see is on. He is half Maori, which is a native people from New Zealand. So he kind of took me under his wing, and I started writing with his son, John Ben Mullen, and it kind of went from there really. But growing up in London, I'm from a Jamaican kind of household, so from very early age, I was going to Jamaica from like one. So I learned to walk in Jamaica, and it's a massive part of my kind of heritage. Going back, we went there every year, every summer. So I guess that music is kind of part of my culture, and in London, we're blessed to have many different cultures from around the world. So hence me, I guess, as a musician, not kind of being one thing, I guess, but I just write life. But growing up in London, I always felt like a foreigner, I guess. But I found my tribe, as you would call it, which is in very colorful, very different people. But whatever, I found where I felt home in some people. Yeah.
So with that being said, you growing up and getting into the industry, at what
hmm
point of your life did you say, okay, this is something that I want to do? I want to write. I want to be a singer, a songwriter.
I would say that was 15, and with me, I never really learned anyone else's songs. I always wrote from that age. I wrote first with other people, and then if I'm real with you, I felt like the people around me weren't as kind of focused as I was. So I meant I learned how to play piano with the help of my teacher, and then then again production. People I was rolling with at that age weren't really focused as weren't really, at that point I went to a place called White Arts where there were a lot of singers. Um, and I guess I was on my journey, but you get distracted. So I learned how to produce. I just, I lived in a single room, and my half of my room was a studio, which again, my teacher helped me get together, and I recorded my stuff there. I just recorded the demos that I got signed with by EMI were created in my little one bedroom studio. Like we could hardly move, but I just quickly it became a way for me to express myself, really, like my therapy. Really, it wasn't contrived, or I wasn't trying to be like anyone else. I was really trying to be British. The artists that inspired me were artists like
And find your
Omar.
own thing. Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then my teachers who I had at WAC Arts. I had a teacher who's based in Atlanta now, for Julie Dexter. And she just taught me from an early age that there's space for everyone here, no matter who you are, and encouraged me to write. So I was writing from day one, more or less. That was my thing. And I just shared my stories. I just shared what was going on in my life and how I kind of saw it. But inspired by people like, great voices, great American voices as well too, like Donny Hathaway,
Ooh.
Stevie Wonder, but also people like Joni Mitchell, Kate Bush, Bowie, um, just music, man, like songwriters. I was inspired by great songwriters. And also hip hop as well. Like my brother was into hip hop, so we had Yo MTV Raps going on as well. So like Tribe Called Quest, Far Side, also like Biggie, that whole everything that came onto your MTV Raps was kind of a big thing. And we had MTV Base here in the UK, but also probably rappers you ain't heard of, like a guy called Roots Maneuver, who is still one of my most um favorite artists, because he just talks about what I like, people who
Yeah.
talk real. Nas, whether it's dark or whether it's light, I like real. I like real. Yeah, whatever that
And
is.
I can go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go, go, go.
Yeah, I was saying that I could definitely tell that it's somewhat of a hip hop influence in your music because it's like
Mm,
I can't describe it. Like I can't put a label on it. And I know most artists are like, well, I don't like to
right.
be labeled, but your music is a mix of certain things. As I was going through listening to some of it
Mm.
while I was in the chair getting my makeup done, um, I'm
You look,
just
you
like,
look
wow,
great.
the sound is so distinct. Thank you. Um, and I'm going through, and it's different sounds. You give us ballads. You give us a little bit of that
Mm,
reggae influence. You give us a little
mm.
bit of the hip hop influence. So we
Yeah.
can't really put a description on it. It's like a mix of everything. So when did you know that you had your own sound, like you're in your own lane, your own category? And shout outs to Delivering Doozies. Thank you for the shirt, Doozies. Doozies made a point today in one of his videos, and he said he was talking about Beyonce,
Yeah.
and he said Beyonce is in her own category now
Mm-hmm.
with this new sound that she's doing because we know her for doing pop R&B. Ever
Mm-hmm.
since she was in Destiny's Child, it was pop
Mm-hmm.
R&B. Now she's going into country and house music,
Right.
or
Right. Okay.
house pop music. So when it comes to labels, that's my question. When it comes to people trying to put artists in a category, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, there's two thoughts about that, and and I say this with no judgment. It's
Yeah.
like I kind of learned there's a music business, you know, and I guess it's a business. You are a product, and there are artists who are gonna try and there's different kinds of artists. There's artists who are just great singers. There's artists who write in different genres and are great great R&B singers, great country singers, great gospel singers, great everything. And I admire talent. I admire talent in any kind of guys, but I guess the path that I chose to do or take was is I'm trying to for my rises and falls is I'm trying to be genuine, and I'm trying to I don't know, it's just a reflection of my life. Like singing's like and making music is now like breathing for me. It's not contrived, and I felt like I just want to do that. You know, like I teach and I teach my students to be them. I don't want them to sing like me. I want them to sound like me. I don't want them to like. I did a session today, and I was like, "What is your body naturally doing? What is your voice naturally doing?" I try to get people in touch with their emotions, because if you're in touch with your emotion, you know, I feel like that's the only way you can really convey emotion. With Beyonce and with that whole world, I feel like that's a whole world that I don't even understand. You know, like the pressures and the things that she faces and the directions that she's going in. Like I have no understanding of that world. I have no. I haven't even heard her new stuff, to be honest. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you, but I feel like as long as she's happy, I'm happy. You know, I'm
And
like,
I asked that question from an artist, like an artist standpoint, because as a singer or a songwriter, you know how people, and a lot of people do that with people like I can go through a list of singers and songwriters. Michael Jackson, Prince,
mm,
Aretha Franklin,
yeah,
Diana Ross. Like it's so many. Like every artist does not stay the same. Like there, even when every album comes out, they don't stay the same. The sound is not the same,
yeah,
and it throws the listeners kind of for a loop. Like, okay, we wasn't expecting this, but then once it comes out, to that, like they said, VOSP said,
yes,
to that
love,
degree, it's like, okay, the audience will start to love it. They will start to love that new sound because they're so accustomed to the sound that you had before. But it's like for every album that comes out, it's going to change. It's not,
yeah,
I know a little bit about the business because my brother used to work at a company,
right,
but every artist that comes out, the new generation of artists that is coming out is not going to have a sound that is going to sound like, an Aretha Franklin or a Patti
mm,
LaBelle, or as you mentioned, a Donny Hathaway. These are all amazing singers and
yeah,
songwriters. So for you, because you teach also as well too, and we have a question
hmm,
for you before I get to mine.
yeah,
Have you ever had a desire to be in that world? And that is from BSOP teacher.
yes, of course, I had a desire to be in that world. Like, I'm not like, I'm not against success in any form, and like what I deem as success and what I want now for my life and what I wanted. I kind of wanted to be me, and I guess I was signed to a major label, so I know what those pressures are. I know what how they try and market you, how they try to fit you into a certain box, and how like. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, well, who would I have been, or who would I have become if I stayed in that lane? Because
Right.
my
Mm-hmm.
life, I got to sit, you know, in New Zealand and Australia with people from the earth, with tribal people, people who know their lineage, their culture, who, play their traditional instruments, who live in tune with the land, um, and have a glimpse of that culture, and connect with some beautiful people. Nathan Haynes, Solar Rosa, my friend Jerome, who plays Tongaporo, which are those instruments. Like, just sit, like, have wild horses running around you, and sit with elders. John Barton, my friend who plays Didge and sings, and hear his mother who learned to sing from the birds. But then also being able to do backing vocals with people like Gregory Porter. Literally, I just did a gig with Outlook Orchestra and David Rodigan, who's like a big reggae DJ here, and do backing vocals and sing on the same stages as people who I grew up with listening to, which is like a spiritual experience. And it's just like, I feel like music is for me more than just flashing lights. And I've sung in front of thousands of people, but I've come home. I come home to my home, and that's not every day, and that's just as valid as being in a classroom and having my student sing to me
Yeah.
who's beginning, or singing when someone's died and their body is in a room. Like, that makes more sense to my. That's why I sing. That's why I write. Like,
In that
um,
in that in that way. Right.
yeah, because it has different realms, but essentially I think music's role for me is to uplift or to share feeling, and I think if anyone's doing that for anyone, then that's great. whether they're famous or whether they're deemed like we live in an opinion based business and an opinion based land, and everyone has an opinion, and everyone resonates with things because they're told to, or because they're culturally, just like even seeing how gender has changed and all of that,
Yeah.
and how people are finally being free enough to be themselves. Um, I think it's important. I think freedom is important, and I'm still, even as an adult, trying to understand what freedom is for me. So I don't know. I feel like I went off on a tangent.
No, go ahead. You were making some valid points. And that
Mm,
is, gotta separate the two. The artists, because when they turn off the lights, the camera, the action, when you're not on stage, that microphone and everything, when you're there and you're in that moment, they're writing, it's just you. So I totally understand 100%. And you kind of are in that light as well too, because you've had such a prolific career. You appeared on 2 tracks on the Streets debut album,
yeah,
original Pirates material,
yeah, I
and
did. You done
you
your
had the
homework.
top hit single, yes, as well too. Let's push things forward, which made the top 40 in the UK charts. Now,
Yeah.
where were you when you first heard the single? When the song came on the radio, did you remember where you
All
were?
right. I know exactly where I was. I was in the stock room in JD Sports, which is like think of it in America, think of your local kind of sneakers chain. And I was a stockroom manager, and it was being played on a radio station called Kiss FM, which was a massive radio station by garage DJ at the time, who was quite known. I think he's passed away now, but it was JD, yeah, JD Sports, and I was listening to myself on the radio. I was still at university at that point, um, and it was quite surreal because, and I think that's what is quite surreal about our business, is you can be in front of thousands of people, and then well, for me anyway, my life is like I've done that. I've been in front of thousands of people and then come back to my
Hard
9 to 5,
time.
and that's just been the way it is. But I'm thankful for that. I think it's kept me real, I think, or whatever that means. Yeah,
From a great experience, humbled, you know who you are, and you've had
still
so many
learning.
albums, well, too. Yes. um, Free Eye, Hope Star, A
Hmm.
Rose. Let's go down the list here. True Flow,
Hmm.
Homework,
Hmm.
For the Mighty Dollar, Ghost,
Hmm.
Last Night again with the Partners, and you've
Hmm.
also got Heartstring, which is one of my favorites. And my
Hmm.
favorites from that album is Unfold. That when I heard
Hmm.
that one, I'm like, okay, this is a mix of jazz and hip hop, and it had that 90s kind of nostalgia feel to it. So I said, okay, that's something that I like. I can vibe to this. And then I went through and I listened to Free Eye, and it had like a hip hop vibe. Like each album has its own thing. Each album has its own sound. And again, you're in your own lane, you're in your own category. That's why I mentioned Beyonce. Beyonce is in her own
Hmm.
category, and people try to put her like, okay, is she doing pop this week? Is she singing about Becky with the good hair? Because
Hmm.
that was one of
Hmm.
the lyrics in her song.
Yeah.
Like, every artist has their own lane. And then it's like
Hmm.
I can't be defined. And I can break up an example. Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
Shaka Khan can do jazz.
Shaka's.
She can do R&B. Like it's so many things she can do.
Mm. True. True. I have to thank you, I have to thank you, because the reality of the situation is I'm involved in a lot of stuff, but essentially everything you hear is done by my hands. Everything you see. And for you to have listened, and for you to have exchanged, and for us to be having this conversation, that's what matters to me, because this is someone that I don't know, who I'm meeting for we're exchanging, and because I was brave enough to, or because I did, no, I'm not even gonna say brave, but because I did what I did, this is the result. And so I have to thank you for taking the time to listen, and the universe for bringing us together, because that's what I have faith in, you know? So thank you.
You are so welcome. You've had such again, an amazing career, and I'm honored to be sitting across from you because your name popped up in the Google search and everything, and it showed all of your albums, all of your accolades. Like you've had such a prestigious career. And do you ever my question is for you, do you ever kind of sit back? Because even for me, I sit back and I've watched some of the interviews that I've done in the past and I've kind of gotten used to it before. I'm just like, no, I don't want to watch myself. But now I've kind of gotten to a point where I can go back and watch them and be like, wow, these are moments that I want to cherish. So for you, throughout these, I call them your babies, of your
Mm,
album, which one holds a very significant place to your heart? And what is the writing process like for you when you're recording each album? Because I know what it's like to do it. You said you did it all by yourself, and I've sat with artists who've
mm,
done it independently, and it's a lot, with making
mm.
sure that you make sound and that the project comes out on time just the way you want it to.
Coming out on time doesn't exist in my world. Doesn't exist. In terms of the writing process is, if I'm honest with you and transparent, I it's probably the most natural process. It's probably, as I said, it's like breathing for me. It's like I write. Um, I, I'm I say none of this with no ego, but with only truth. I write prolifically. Like I have a lot of material that I have right now. And it's the getting over oneself, which I've got better at over the years, and not and the imperfection of it all. And that is that I feel like these insecurities or this stuff is created by the industry, created by self, created
Yeah,
by it's a journey that every artist I think maybe goes through. But essentially, I can write like one of my EPs. I think it was True Flow was done in 3 days from start to finish. Every track. Um, and that's how I work. Really, like I did an album with my friend called Joel Haynes, a film producer in New Zealand. He had the tracks already, but we recorded an album in 3 days. It's not out yet. There's a couple of tracks on SoundCloud, but that's how I work. I work, but then sometimes there's tracks that that I finish, and over time they sit, and then I fuse them together, and it comes together, and it's done. But it's very it's very reflective, man. It's almost like, because like Heartstring, man, Heartstring was the most painful album to write, and it almost never saw day because it is so close to my bone. So I think that's what I fight with too. But then these are is yeah. So heartstring is like close, but I guess when you say would you look back, there's a track I recorded in Melbourne when my daughter was 1, and I distinctively remember it, but I posted it recently on my page. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's called about starting again. And I drove like 2 hours back, and this track ministered to me the whole way back, because that's what happens with my music. If I'm honest, I'm being really honest here. This might be too honest, but tracks that I've recorded like in New Zealand, like to the ocean, and different things, like they come back and they teach me, and they have something else for me in them. I know, and I don't want to sound narcissistic, but the, it's almost like my teachers. That's weird. I know that's weird. It
your
might be weird.
elders. It goes back to what you said in the beginning of the interview, which is your elders and that environment, that sound environment. When you said, "Okay, I went to New Zealand, the Netherlands, and places like that,"
Mm,
you find that environment, and that's where you develop that recording process of things where it's just like, okay. The scenery is beautiful, which is gonna gear into the next question that I was gonna ask you because I'm like, where do you find that inspiration to write about these things? Because I know you said for this particular project, Heartstring, it's very personal and close to you, almost did record it. But
Mm.
where do you find that inspiration for each album? What like which element?
Um, it would be the scenery. It would be having a conversation with you. You know, it would be no serious. It's this is real. Like it's not fiction. It will be conversations I have with other artists or conversations I have with someone in the coffee shop. Something that I'm aspiring to be or channeling. Like I write really quickly, and I write really quickly, and it's easier to write on my own. Like because when I'm writing on my own, it's just me, and I just have to. There's less judgment. But I mean, when I work with somebody else, for me, like I'm a tool. Like I want to understand them. I want to understand their energy, and I still have to be able to stand behind it. But it's a language. It's a two-way thing. And if it's someone else's project, I want to learn them. I'll listen to their tracks beforehand. You know,
Yeah.
I'll learn like um, I'll learn what they like, and also how we can develop things, and also no ego. You know, if they don't like it, you leave it, you move on. I've written tracks and done
And
whole
keep it
tracks, and they're like, yeah, you keep it moving. You don't let your ego get in the way. You service the track, you service the music. It's about the music. It's about the music and the story. I love stories. I love talking to people of different ages and like learning them, and because I think we're all a book. Like we're all like you're a book. Like look at you. Do you know what I mean? You're a book. Like I want to hear your story. Do you know what I mean? Like it's beautiful.
Um, and that's what I was also gonna say as well too. You've mentioned in the beginning, how therapeutic music was for you, and
Mm,
telling your story. Each and every one of us tell a story, and for the musicians, singers, and songwriters out here, you guys tell stories, and it's like, okay, we're listening to the music, and we're just like, okay, this is a piece of something that I've went through in my life, and it's like, wow, to hear this song playing about something that I've been speaking about, or that I've went
mm,
through, just crazy. So yeah,
mm,
singers, songwriters tell a story.
mm. I think we all do, man. It's just like, do we take time to listen? Do we take time? Yeah, I think people. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. People are scared. A lot of people are scared to be themselves, or um scared to even exchange, and that's what disappoints me most. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to be less afraid. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, fashion dolls. We're about to get into our games with Kevin here. The first one is
Games.
called the Rapid Five, and Kevin has to tell me five things that he can't live without. It can be musically, it can be through life, um, your favorite things, your favorite singer, football team, whatever it is that you like. And then the next one is where we turn the tables. And we talked about storytelling. So this is where I tell my story, and my guests get to ask me questions in a segment called Turn the Tables, as many as they want to. So I'm going to pass it on to Kevin. We're going to do the rapid five. What are five things that Kevin can't live without?
Ooh. Right now, I feel food. Food is massive, man. Um, music, probably. I probably can't live without music. Um, what else can't I live without? Family and friends. Family
Mm.
and friends is important. Um, what else can't I live without? Ooh, difficult.
I got you.
creativity and inspiration in any form. Colors, people's colors, like different people. Like, yeah, I can't live without that. What else can't I live without? Love. You know, I'm a love, I'm a love, I'm a loving. Like, I love love. I love, I love love in all its guises and forms, and every shade of love and intimacy. I love it. I love it and miss it.
And we need it right now in these times. So I'm glad you said that. We need that and everything that's going on in the world right now. We need that more than ever.
Mm, mm. Cool. That's five, I think.
All right, Fashion Dolls. That is Kevin's five. All right, so it is time for me to open my storybook. And he asked me questions along the way on my goals, passions, ambitions, and the turn the table segment. So I'm going to pass it on down to Kevin.
So, what are your goals? What?
My goal is to be and encourage people. People need encouragement more than ever. So that's one of my goals is to encourage people, is to give people a hope, a sense of hope, a sense of light. Um, we've all made mistakes along the way, and I hold myself accountable for things that I've done in my past. I'm like, I can't change the past, but I can better myself for the present and the future. You know, you look back and you think of things, and it's just like, wow, this could have been different and handled differently. But now, where I'm at this point in my life, I can say I've been the most happy. I'm the most happiest that I've ever, and you guys can see it all over me. But um, yeah, that's what I would have to say is one of my goals. I could easily say to have a even bigger talk show than Style by Stevie, but I'm happy where I'm at. I know everybody's like, this show should be on TV, but I on God's timing, you never know. And I look at things like that. You know, whatever the universe has for me out there, whatever He puts out there for me, it's gonna come to full circle. So I believe in manifestation. You never know.
Your energy yeah, this is lovely. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Um, other questions. What other questions do I have? Um, questions. What questions do I have? Um, what else do you do?
Well, if I'm not doing Style by Stevie, the show here, then I'm being the nurse, the caretaker for my mom, making sure that she has everything. I'm being the hairstylist. I'm being all of these things to her. I'm being her wardrobe stylist, helping her pick out and put outfits together since I'm so equipped with fashion. And that's what I do. Everybody knows that. But yeah, it's definitely a balance. So just a regular old little girl from South Carolina with dreams, ambitions, and goals and passions, wishing to hope and make them come true.
Where's your favorite place that you've been?
My favorite place, I would have to say around my home and my backyard because we have the way we have it set up. My mom has this table, and I've gotten into gardening, which is very, very therapeutic along the way. So she has this table set up with these flowers, and it's like our backyard has a walkthrough. Oh, you've got them too.
I got loads of
Yeah,
plants.
I love. I've got a green thumb, or developing one. So I love flowers. I love nature. I love nature. So I would have to say my backyard and my home. I feel comfortable at my sanctuary and my oasis.
We got a question. If you could write a song title that describes the space you are in yourself, what would that be?
Now, is this for me, the SOP, or Kevin? Because I mean, I'll answer it. I mean, I do write. That is one thing I do. I do a lot of writing. That's also therapeutic. I noticed that I'm big on, taking the ease off and just relaxing and just being at peace and at one with yourself. So
It's for
that's
you.
something that I
It's
would love to do.
it's for you. It's for you.
Oh, for me, okay.
Yeah.
Um, what song would I write about myself, about the space that I'm in right now? Oh, he said Kevin can answer too. All right. For me, the song that I would write would have to be, I would title it Unbreakable, because I've been through so much in my life. Even though Alicia Keys has written a song like that, Unbreakable, or is it Unthinkable? I'm ready. But mine would be Unbreakable, because people try to throw so many obstacles at you to try to stop you from going where you need to be. And I've had so much, it's like the weight of the world is on your back, but it's like, okay, how much can a person take? But you have to keep going at the end of the day. So for me, it would have to be Unbreakable. I'm still here. I'm still standing. A beautiful, strong woman that you guys see today. So yeah, I would have to say Unbreakable.
Hmm. Mine would be transition.
Mm,
Transition. Mine would be transition because things are moving. Things are moving, and um, it's weird, you know. We feel like we've got this thing figured out, but we are always walking in. It feels
reinventing.
like, yeah, it feels like you're always driving, and you've got like you're driving at night on the motorway, and the lights are shining on the road, and you know the direction you're going in, but the light is shining on the road. And so you just have to trust in faith and keep driving. You know you're driving that car. You know? Yeah, that's where I'm at.
And keep it navigated on the that straight path on where you need to
Yeah,
go
use
and
Google
focus.
Maps. Oh,
Oh my goodness. Oh, I think if we don't have any other questions, fashion dolls, you are welcome. VSOP268. You're welcome, my love. Yeah, that was a powerful question, because people need to know what is one word that describes you. We all have to have something that describes us, a power word that keeps us going. And I can think of the most powerful words. I can think of invincible. I can think of unbreakable. I can think of, triumphant. You've
mm-hmm,
overcome so many tragedies in your life. You're still here. You're still standing. You're surviving.
mm-hmm,
And that you're
mm-hmm,
living,
mm-hmm.
breathing, walking testimony. So that's what that is.
And keep heart. That's the one thing that I always say to myself and to is love, man. Keep love. Like keep love at the helm. Keep heart at the helm because that yeah, just like with that, I feel like if I'm acting in love, then you know, we all forget. We all it's difficult to embrace that in every single situation all the time. But when I surrender to that, the universe makes sense.
More than ever, we need that, especially in these times, is love and harmony more than ever, not division. So much going on down here in the United States.
I got a question. So what would you if you could change like today one thing in the world, what would that be?
If I could change one thing in the world, it would be equality. I want equality for everybody. That's why I do what I do, and I have these conversations to kind of get people to think and have an open mind. And people says, okay, I'm an overthinker. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with sitting and actually taking a moment to yourself and saying, okay, I need to think about this. Again, self reflection and having conversations with God or whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in. Have a
Hmm.
conversation and sit and reflect. And as my caption on my photo, was it Tuesday or the previous week before, said, be still, still in the moment. Be still.
Cool. That's that's great. That's I can resonate with that. Mhm.
Yep, that's what I would tell people. And more than anything, if I could change it all, it would be equal for everybody. You know,
Hmm.
everybody has equal rights in this country. Everybody to just be and just feel accepted.
What is it like living in the States? Because I've got a sister in Atlanta, in Maryland. What is it like living where you are, like,
Down
with
here in the
life and stuff?
Carolinas,
Yeah.
in the Carolinas, it's hot, of course.
Hmm.
So I love it. Everybody knows everybody, and it is true. Southern hospitality, to an extent, not like that, but um, we love to have a good time. We're all about the barbecue down here in the United States. We've got in the South, we've got the barbecue from the Annie.
Hmm.
So that's one thing I would have to say. The Southern hospitality.
Cool. Cool. Negatives? What are negatives? No, I'm
Negative.
asking now. I'm going now. I'm going in.
Um, The negative part about it is that you have some nosy neighbors. You do, and not on my part of town, but you do on other parts of the South. You have those who are out looking, who are out watching, to pretend like they're taking the garbage out or something, and they're looking to see what's going on. So that
Okay.
that would have to be the road out.
Cool. Cool. If you could travel, where would you go?
Where would I go? I would have to say
London?
Indonesia. Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I love being in touch with nature, and I've seen documentaries on fish and flowers, so many things. So I would love to be exposed to different cultures. But I heard you whisper UK. That too. I would definitely would love to go to the UK too.
Well, when you get here, we have to catch up. We have to have a coffee or a drink or something or a meal. We'll show you London hospitality.
I would love that.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, fashion dolls. Any other questions for myself or Kevin? This is such a great conversation, and I do the turn the table so that for my new viewers out here, they could kind of get to know a little about me because you say, well, she's very mysterious. What is it about her? I'm very private. That's one thing I don't really reveal a whole lot on,
Hmm.
you know, the internet, social media. I just, I let people assume, think what they think, but I let people assume what they think about me. But other than that,
Hmm.
just having a conversation with me is a good way for me to open up.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. People don't have no
Well,
questions.
you don't have any more?
I'm trying to think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book would have to be I Know Why the Caged Bird Sing by Maya Angelou. Is Maya Angelou thing. Oh yeah.
That is a beautiful book. Beautiful book. Beautiful
Mhm.
book. Like I think one of my caged bird. I feel like a caged bird is like kind of like taken from that kind of yeah. It's inspired by that a bit. Like yeah, yeah. So I love that book. I read that book when I was quite young. It's beautiful, sad, beautiful,
I love
colorful.
her. My sister went to DC for a
Hmm.
class trip and they actually got to see her recite a poem. So it's definitely something to cherish. And we have that somewhere. I don't know where my mom put it. But it
Hmm.
was such an honor. Such
Wow, cool.
an honor.
Favorite film?
My favorite film, everyone knows this. I love to laugh and have a good time, as you guys can see from my personality, even off of doing the show. I would have to say with the Eddie Murphy, the Nutty Professor, and I know the
Not even
lines
Professor.
word for word. I know everything, the characters, the dinner scene, like you can't forget it. So that is one film that I definitely love for the rest of my life, and I can watch over and over and over again.
Cool, dope, 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 dope. Yeah, I haven't seen Naughty Professor in years. It's been a long while. But it's funny. It is one of Eddie's golden moments. Golden
Oh my!
moments.
So we
Mm,
don't have any more questions, fashion dolls.
none.
Then I think my last question for you is: That's me with come. Oh yes, that one too.
Golden Child's pretty cool too. I
Oh,
like old school.
it's like we know all of his films. It's these are cult classics that everybody has watched and known word for word and know the characters like the back of your hand, know the
Hmm.
lingo from beginning to end.
True
And
that.
those are things that'll always be able to cherish for the rest of your life. Those type of movies.
True that. Mm.
So my last question is for you is what can people can expect from you in the future?
Oh, I've just recorded a acoustic album a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
but maybe a month ago now, which is just me sitting at a grand piano with a guitar, really raw. I haven't even heard it. I haven't heard the tracks yet back, but they're all new songs. Um, so there's that coming at some point, and I think with that, I'll actually. It's been a while since I've been out and about, so I'm gonna start doing some shows with that. Um, Probably in September, October times. Start trying to do some shows again. There's another album which is finished, um, which I've been putting out little snippets for on Instagram, which should come out before that. And it's kind of like I'm kind of just like letting go of stuff when it feels right. So that will be probably out shortly, maybe within the next couple of months. And I haven't got a title for it yet. I haven't got a title, but it's done. I'll decide.
I'm sure you come up with something.
I'll come up with something. Um, yeah, that's again is quite close to the bone, so I've got to, yeah, but it's coming. It's coming. So yeah, and then there's more. There's more. There's other stuff. Um, but yeah, I guess my new kind of just I want to get out. I want to get out and gig again. It's been a minute, so I want to just get out and play, and I'm gonna be doing that really simply, just with guitar and piano. Um, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Ivan says I would love to come and see you live, brother. And I know you miss that feeling of being on stage and performing.
Yeah, big up Ivan. I haven't seen him in a long time. Big you up, brother. Yeah, I do. I miss it. I get to perform a lot, but of late it's been mainly other people's stuff, which has been amazing. Um, and I'm just looking forward to stretching my legs a little bit. Yeah, to just singing my songs. It's different when you sing your songs. It's more exposing. It's weird. It's a weird one, but it's yeah. I think it's time to do it again.
Get
Yeah,
right into it.
yeah, yeah. So it's coming. It's coming.
All right, fashion dolls. I think if we don't have any other questions or comments, let everyone know where they can follow you. And my last part is what advice would you give to someone that is looking to get into the music industry, become a singer or songwriter?
Advice I would give is, oh man, it's big. It's big. Don't take yourself too seriously. I think maybe. Um, know what you want from it. Know what you want. Know what you want. Know who you want to be. And also, um, don't be afraid of it, and don't feel like anyone is above or below you ever, ever. Um, and love yourself and enjoy, enjoy this life. I tell you, it's a big one because it's very. There's loads of advice that you can give someone, and it depends on which path they want to take. But essentially, you got to stay balanced. I say stay balanced, stay balanced. like within yourself. Give yourself time. Like give yourself time and just stay balanced and keep your loved ones close. Keep your loved ones close. Yeah, yeah,
A great support circle. And we talked
yeah,
about that today with my
yeah,
previous guest. We talked about staying with a close circle of, your family, your friends that are there truly supporting and caring
yeah,
alone.
yeah, yeah. I think that's the biggest advice is to just look after yourself, look after your soul, look after your body, look after your health, and the rest will follow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So let everyone know where they can follow you. I had what
You could follow me on Instagram, which is just Kevin Mark Trail. You can follow me on Facebook, Kevin Mark Trail. Again, my website, kevinmarktrail.co.uk. But I guess Instagram is where I've been putting most stuff that's new of late. And those are the places really. Yeah, that's me.
All right, fashion dolls. We are now at the end. This was such an amazing, great conversation. I had such a great time with you, and we definitely got to do it again in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me in your world, and I wish you, I wish you infinite blessings. Infinite. And keep shining your light. Keep shining your light. And thank you for finding me. Thank you for finding me and inviting me to be here. I appreciate it.
You are so welcome. It was such a pleasure having you here. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Mark Trail. Please make
Oh,
sure you go and follow him. Check out his music. Out now. Heartstrings is out now. I love you all, and you guys have an amazing evening. TGIF.
love.
Listen
Thank you for checking in. Take
to
care.
you.
Take care. Love. Love.